Are you back? Well, I kind of set this thing up, and I'm gonna try and do it and see what happens. And maybe it'll work and maybe it won't. I've got my little improvised stand here. I don't like it. Ran shallow. Can you see it? Ran to there and ran shallow. So, what I'm going to end up doing is reflaking it. If I can get up here where y'all are. This isn't going to be exciting because all I'm going to do is reflake back in over it and flute again. How can you do that, you say? Well, just do it. I need to quit making mistakes though. Just a little crunchier and chewier once you get down to the center. And I should have tried to work it toward one side or the other instead of going to the center. That's so typical of Texas rock. Hey, wait a minute. I said I wasn't going to blame this rock for that. Well, whatever. The rock's reputation doesn't matter. But you can you see how it's crunching? See how it's crunching on the edges? The tensile strength of the edges didn't go in enough quite on some of those flakes. I need to get my act together before I run out of room. Run out of width. It's amazing how much the being on camera affects my napping. Oh well. Gotta get rid of those. And then I'm going to come back the other way. And that's right at the center line, so I'm going to bevel down and lose a little bit more width. But I didn't really get my convexity right here at the end where it's most important. Okay. Crunch. Did you hear that? Don't ever do this. It's a good way to end up with a two-piece. I'm trying to hurry. I think I subconsciously hurry when I screw up, because that way, if I rush and get to a good part where it's not a screw up, then it's like the screw up never happened. Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Can you see it? You think I ought to try and keep fluting it, or you think I ought to just finish it as a plain view or something? The cool thing about it is once you get to where you can kind of nap okay, you don't really care. Or I don't. I mean, it's not like if I screw this up, I'll never have a chance again to make the point type. I guess the best thing, if you will say a good thing about, well, it's good and bad. I'm not cut out to be somebody that people pay too much attention to, because it's not my nature, but on the flip side, it's nice to be past the initial stage of when you broke a cool point, it was a crisis, because you might never have the opportunity again, you felt. Alright, whatever. Don't care. Don't care. Flute it. Flute it. It's ugly. Flute it anyway. Where's my bit? How bad did I mess the bit up? You always want that bit pretty nice, because if it ain't, you'll probably pay. Alright, so theoretically this thing is shorter now, so I probably can go up a notch. Always grind the sides of the ears, you know, where I'm grabbing them too. And this is a different piece of leather, you probably noticed from the last time. The last time I was using some pretty thin little leather, and I was concerned that perhaps the reversal that I had last time I tried to do one had something to do with that. I don't know. Alright. Yeah, this is not being set up carefully or well. It's one of these kind of deals where either it'll work or it won't. And if it works, I'll look like, oh, I don't even have to think. I just am a genius and just can make stuff go. And if it doesn't work, I'll just not upload the video. So whatever. Alright. So we're gonna try it. You still watching? Alright. Well, it still didn't hold long enough to have the tensile strength to not go until I want it to go, but the flute's a little wider and it's long enough to definitely be a folsom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that side like that, and I'm going to try to do something with the other side. How many minutes have I got? That's 9 minutes. Alright, we're cool. Certain rock is the way to go for full length fluting, and I've had real good luck with heated flint ridge. Seems to work good, and some other materials work pretty good. It's just the tensile strength of the platform has to be pretty good for it to hold long enough until the pressure builds enough before it goes. So it's kind of a guessing game with the isolations, because on the one hand, it's especially if you're doing a folsom, you don't want it to be so stout that you get a big pressure bulb, especially on the second flute, because it gets pretty thin down there. But on the other side of the coin, you want it to, if it weren't for that, you'd want it to get pretty good pressure built up, so it'll run a long ways. Alright, so now we got to do some magic, and I've got some issues here. Ooh, I don't even see a way to address some of my issues too well with where the edges are at the moment. And you say to yourself, I'm not going to worry too much about that far end because the flake will probably not go that far. Well, that's the one time that it will, when you say that to yourself. I'm really looking at where my contours are, where the stuff is running to, and I've got a high spot right there. And unfortunately, this over here is kind of a concavity. Can't really attack it from there. I need this side turned this way a little bit. Where's my leather? Are you still able to see this? I'm doing tricky little crap. I came in and rolled one over there, and then I rolled one from up here over there, just trying to lower this area in the middle, and I don't think you can really see it, but it is doing that. Because I can always worry about the sides later. I have a little bit of trouble seeing, so I'm just feeling my ridges. What I do, I learned that with obsidian. Well, I got it lowered. I did get it lowered. See, the stuff runs past the center line a lot of times when you use a leather, if you know how to do that, and it can get you out of a convexity issue if your issue is a high spot. This is not a lot of biconvexity. But on the other hand, it doesn't necessarily look like my worst ever. What time is it? 14 minutes, huh? Nah. I don't know, man. Kind of sketchy. I'm not doing anything right. Haven't ground that lately, and look at that, it's just completely funcatated. Oh, if you're unfamiliar with the term funcatated, I don't know if he invented it or not, but a friend of my son's when he was little said that. And I've been saying it ever since. Seems like a good predicate adjective to me. This is very dicey. It's always a judgment call how you set this stuff up. And I've done all this, and yet I'm considering undoing it and remaking this. And I'll show you why. I don't know if you can see this or not. I've got kind of a shallow platform, and it's real close to the knife edge of the other side, the other face. It's not out away from that. If I cut this off some and move it down a little bit and lose a tiny bit of length, it'll get to a thicker area and I'll have a little bit more room for air with the bubble percussion not cutting through. So that's what I'm deciding about. I think I'm going to try that, and then hopefully maybe it'll do okay and you'll think that I made a good call. And if not, then oh well. There's really quite a bit to how this stuff is done, and I don't really think I do it right. I don't know why I'm showing it. My platforms don't really look like most other people's I've seen. But I don't really know the relative success rate of other people, so that's chewy. That's chewy, man. Too chewy. Where's my little, I need a dang, oh, fingernails on a chalkboard. Most abraders, I've actually heard that the old boys sometimes just kind of like polish these things until they were like shiny almost. Well, that makes total sense, because any little micro fracture or anything in it make it fail sooner. So the more polished it is and round, and you know, like a top of an egg, the stronger it's going to be, I think. You might disagree. Well, I'll be shocked if this does anything good. That's for luck. Alright. What do we care? It's all about amusing oneself on a Sunday afternoon by listening to aircraft incessantly and talking to oneself incessantly. Alright, so might even need to go up one more, we'll check. Nope, go back down. You don't want that lever too high up. I mean, you don't want it too low either, but you don't want it too high, because you want it kind of lined up with the center of the point. So how does it look? We'll try it. Don't know what time it is, but y'all are still watching, so. Well, good news and bad news. Good news is it ran about the same length as the other one. Bad news is it ran a little thin. But oh well. We'll try and make an extremely thin, sexy point, and then if I don't show this film, then y'all and me are the only ones that'll know. Actually, what I'll do is I'll come in with this side over here and try and straighten that up, and then make a decision. I don't actually want to redo this though. I'm gonna keep it like it is. All right, we're cutting off and coming back.